Note to self. Put out the candles in the bathroom. Note to self. Unplug the radio. It keeps turning on in the middle of the night, and it's getting really annoying. Note to self. Clean up the spare room. Ted is coming to stay for the weekend. Note to self. Polish the kitchen counter. Note to self. Pick up my antidepressants from the pharmacist at 3. Note to self. The side gate keeps opening by itself. Replace the locks. Note to self. Kettle broke. Get a new one. Note to self. Could have sworn I unplugged the radio. Be less forgetful in the future. Note to self. Condensation keeps reappearing on the kitchen window. Maybe turning on the heat less will fix that. Note to self. Untangle the wires in the electronics drawer. Note to self. Creaky floorboards in the attic keep me up at night. Have them looked at. Note to self. Bring Stacy to La Posta Roche next weekend. It's our 1-year anniversary. Note to self. No more dairy products before bed. Had horrific nightmares last night. Note to self. Stop all this pen scratching. Note to self. Bring the dog to the vet. Seems agitated. Keeps barking at corners. Note to self. Clean out the ash from beneath the fireplace. Note to self. Condensation still appearing on the window. Have electrician look at it. Note to self. Put folded paper under leg of kitchen table. When I sit there, it rocks. Note to self. Seriously need to compensate for that shorter leg. It's rocking by itself now. Note to self. Reduce heat setting on the iron. Nearly burned another piece of clothing today. Note to self. Don't trust Ted. Note to self. Sweep the sunroom. Note to self. Why shouldn't I trust Ted? Note to self. Do not look in anything reflective. Note to self. It's aware. Note to self. Keep away from the neighbor. I saw her mouth on her forehead today. Note to self. Do not open the door for anyone. Note to self. Replace its face on every portrait with my face. Note to self. Get away from the whispers. They're following me. Note to self. I own this house forever. Note to self. I can control him. Note to self. I prefer controlling the house. It's pretty. Note to self. Man is lying on the floor after eating a lot of little round white things. Dog keeps sniffing and whining. Note to self. He's been here a while. And the dog just ate some of the little white things off the floor. Note to self. Dog is now on the floor too. Note to self. I look pretty beside Stacy. Like this house. Note to self. I should find Stacy. Note to self. Ted is at the door. Note to self. Don't trust Ted.